What up? It's K.Honesty, and I'm about to be reviewing Bel-Air Season 3, Episodes 4, 5, and 6. So if you have not seen Episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Season 3 of Bel-Air, turn this video off and go watch the episodes. Come back and watch this video. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel. It's a simple and free way to support my channel, and it's free. I just said that, yeah, but it's free. It's free. I don't know how much more I can express to you that it's that easy to just like and subscribe to the channel. I'm not a public speaker. I will tend to fumble my words and say and so and like 1,000 times. I may stop to regain my thoughts. I may slow my speaking down to regain my thoughts. I will be looking at my notes that I take throughout the show. Anything I say is my opinion. It does not reflect anyone or anything associated with the show. Comment below what you guys would grade each episode, what you thought of each episode. If I forget anything, if I'm off on anything, please let me know in the comments, because I do miss things when I'm watching shows. And yeah, I like to grade the episodes before and after the reviews. Of course, we're going to start with episode 4, so I'm only going to give my grade for that for now. And, of course, I will leave in the description the timestamps of when I start talking about episodes 5 and 6. For those who've only watched episode 4. And I will give what's the word? God damn it. I will let you know when I'm about to start talking about episode 5 before I start talking about episode 5. That way you will know when to turn it off if you only seen episode 4. So for now, if you've only seen episode 4 of season 3 of Bel-Air, then that's what we're about to get into, and I'm going to grade that episode. Not a lot happened in this episode. I'm going to grade episode 4 a C+. It wasn't nothing to write home about, shall I say. Episode 4 didn't really have a lot going on in my opinion. So I'm going to grade episode 4 as C+. So this is the last chance. If you have not seen episode 4 of Bel-Air season 3, turn this video off because I'm about to spoil the entire episode. And like I said, I will give an alert before I start talking about episode 5. So the beginning of episode 4, of course, we're seeing at the end of episode 3, Hillary's fiance LaMarcus took a hard hit on the field and went down. So now he's in the hospital. They said his heart stopped. So now Hillary's there in the hospital freaking out. Viv and Phil are there to rally behind her, even though they're at odds. And LaMarcus's parents are there. And then she finally gets an update, finds out he's out of ICU and he's going to make it. So it's all good news. Because I was thinking, I don't know why I always think the worst and stuff sometimes. When I'm watching the show or a movie, I'd be like, what if this happened? It'd be the worst shit that could happen. So I was like, what if... I don't know if I said it in episode 3 review, but I was like, what if LaMarcus died and that'd just be an easy out for Hillary to go back to Jazz? But nope, LaMarcus is okay. He's going to make it. As Carlton gives Phil the update on LaMarcus via Hillary, Phil gives Carlton, good luck on Carlton and Will's first day, I guess in class or presenting their black cess to the rest of the people that are in Q's internship program. And he tells Carlton how proud he is of him, and he tells Carlton he's going to talk with Viv about Carlton possibly getting his bedroom doors back. All the while Carlton's taking a piss test in this moment. So they don't trust him fully, but he getting some type of trust back. So, Will, he briefly chats with Jeffrey the next morning. He's like, I feel like I made the right decision leaving sports, seeing what happened to LaMarcus. So then Jeffrey, confronts him, being Jeffrey, pulling a Jeffrey. He's asking Will, like, what happened tonight at the car show? So Will, he tries to play off. He's like, whatever Frederick told you happened. And Jeffrey's like, I want to know if Frederick was involved in something I should know about. And Will, he's just like, no, nothing to tell. Jeffrey can clearly see that Will is lying. I don't know why Will knows he can see through your ass. And if he can't see through your ass, he can find out. So Viv's sorority sister Joan shows up, and Viv's going on and on about her the new artist she found, Destiny, and how she thinks she's going to make Destiny the new fellow, and how she feels like she hasn't been making the right choices or something like that. She says to her. Then we cut away to Hillary, who finally gets to go into the hospital room to see LaMarcus, and LaMarcus wakes up and he's like, "What was that you wanted to talk to me about?" And Hillary's like, "Oh, don't worry about that right now. Just worry about getting better." So I don't see Hillary telling him anytime soon. I mean, I get it. You don't want to add anything else to him, but I mean, I don't know. What would you do in that situation? Would you tell him? Would you not? I don't know. Especially after he tells her he has like a serious condition. Let me see. I wrote this down. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, and that he apparently it's the same condition that John Q's son had on the movie John Q with Denzel Washington. I didn't know that till somebody told me, but so he's telling them that he had it all he's telling Hillary he had it all his life, he had no idea, and now they want to do open heart surgery. And he seems like super nervous or hesitant about it. And Hillary's just encouraging him to do whatever you can to get better. If the surgery helps, then you need to do this. And LaMarcus's dad comes in. He acts like LaMarcus didn't die for a quick second. Like his heart stopped. He died for a minute. He comes in like it's all good. Like the agents are talking timeline, and Hillary is like, "Are you guys mad? Like you died on that field. Like you need to just be focused on getting back." And LaMarcus's dad ain't paying no mind. The coach done called while they in there, and he done put LaMarcus on the phone. LaMarcus seems like the type that just want to please his daddy. We all seen that type on TV shows where sometimes the child don't even want to do the sport, but they doing it because their father is so invested, you know. So we kind of seeing that here with LaMarcus and his father. So we go back to Viv and Joan, and Viv tells Joan about Phil and Erica's kiss. And Joan's like, "I'm getting upset." Tries to give Viv her vape pen. For a minute, I thought Viv was about to take that hit of that vape. And I was like, "Oh, no, we about to turn Viv into a weed head." But she doesn't take the vape, and Joan just suggests that they have a girls' night out. So right before Will and Carlton are to present their black sets to the rest of the interns or whatever, Will tells Carlton about Jeffrey's suspicions about the night of the car show. And Carlton gets nervous because he's like, "Man, my father was just talking about giving me my doors back, and now we got to keep this secret. Like, I don't like he's struggling with lying to Jeffrey, and he wants his parents to fully trust him again." So Q comes in, he announces to the whole internship program, to all the students, that basically today is the day, or I guess one day this week is the day that they'll be presenting their ideas and whatnot to investors. So Will and Carlton, they step up, they start explaining black cess to all the other students in the program. And Will doesn't seem to know a lot about the business side, so Carlton's kind of taking the lead on the in the speaking or whatnot, and all the questions that the students are asking. And Q comes up, he's like, "How you guys inventory looking at?" While Carlton's about to tell him the truth, like, we haven't gotten the inventory. Will cuts him off and is like, "Oh, we got everything handled." And Q's like, "Well, chop, time is chicken, because we trying to have these investors bankrolling y'all by the end of the summer. Because this is a summer internship. It's not like it's all year round. So it's like, they got to be quicker than that. Somebody else gonna get their money." So apparently Will went to Jazz's guy to get the hookup on the shirts, on the merch and stuff. So Will and Carlton, they checking Jazz. They like, "Well, your boy ain't hitting me back. We're trying to get an update on the inventory and whatnot." And Jazz like, "That's what happens when you want to hook up." Like, and Will's like, "Well, we didn't have the startup money." And Carlton's like, "Well, we could have asked my dad." But Will's so hung up on what his father said about the no handouts comment that his father made. So he like, "Carlton, we not taking no handouts from your father. We not taking no handouts at all." So Carlton's upset that Will's kind of like, Will is late on the inventory, because Will's like, "I said apparel was my thing, so let me worry about it." But Carlton's upset about this, about the apparel, about the inventory being late. Will not want to take money from Uncle Phil. Jeffrey possibly being on their ass. So Carlton and Will are they're kind of becoming at odds in this episode. So Jazz is like, don't worry, my man might not respond, but he gonna have your shirts on time. So the next thing, Phil and Jeffrey, they playing golf, and Phil talks about cutting ties with Erica's firm completely now. And Jeffrey's like, what brought this about? He was like, because I ain't say cut ties with her completely, just try to keep some distance. And Phil's like, nah, completely. Tells Jeffrey about Erica telling Viv about the kiss. And Jeffrey's like, you know, that little teeth sucking that the British be doing. He's like, I wanted to. Phil was like, oh, don't say I told you so. So Jeffrey, you know, he reassures Phil that he and Viv, you know, they're going to get through this. They get through everything else. And he's like, if you're going to cut ties with Erica, then you're going to need a big client to fill that gap from all her clients going away. And, you know, Phil brings up the Omar Campbell project and how Omar Campbell doesn't think that he's the right guy because he's so focused on his business plan or aspect or whatever. And Jeffrey just like, well, it's time to get rugged. It's time to like step out there and show him you are the guy, basically. So as Will is in the house calling the shirt guy, trying to get him on the phone, he's still not answering, no response. Lisa and Amira show up and they like, double date, beach. Let's do a double date at the beach. Out of nowhere. And mind you, Will and Carlton are kind of at odds right now. So they looking at each other like, oh, double date. Like, they're not really excited. Excited to see their girls, but not excited to be together on a double date. Jazz ass pops up at the hospital to check on Hillary. Brings her some type of food that his parents made. And like, he's just trying to check on her. And she's like, that's super sweet. So then he brings up the kiss. And he's like, you know, that kiss was all on me. And Hillary's like, no, you right. Every time something happens, I run. And that kiss was just me fucking up another relationship, fucking up another situation. And this nigga Jazz brings a girl with him. And she gets upstairs and she's like, hello. And Hillary's like, you might want to go because Miss Girl. And I was just like, why would you bring a chick with you to go check on your ex? Like, that was weird behavior. He like, I told you to stay downstairs. It's just like, why would you even bring her? First of all, why you even popping up at the hospital on her? I mean, I get it. Y'all had a real relationship, but I wouldn't pop up on her at the hospital. That was just weird to me. So the couples, Lisa and Will, Carlton and Amira, they get to the beach, and instead of them having like a double date, they're like separate from each other. And while they're separate from each other, Carlton's complaining to Amira about Will, and Will is complaining to Lisa about Carlton. So it's just like, they just complaining to each other. I was like, oh, they're going to spend the whole day complaining about each other. It's hilarious. So the woman that we saw in Jazz's shop a couple episodes ago that's running for city council, Yolanda Porter, she's holding a protest against the Omar Campbell project. And she's talking about, you know, how they getting tired of gentrification and whatnot. Omar Campbell comes out. He tries to say something, but he just makes it worse. He's like, you know, crabs in a barrel. And she's like, oh, he thinks LA is a barrel. So she was just taking his words and like spinning it. So then Phil steps in and he's like, you know, I get it that change is hard and da-da-da. And we're going to have open forums. And Omar Campbell's like, I didn't say nothing about no open forums. And Phil's like, look, that's why you need my firm. So then the news reporter, she's like, well, for Philip Banks, what do you have to do with this project? So this is when Omar decides, okay, well, Philip Banks and Associates, they're going to be the firm representing the project. They're going to be the legal counsel. So he basically hires Phil in that moment. Phil kind of forced his hand, though. Like, angry protesters, woman running for city council, news press out there, kind of forced his hand. But, I mean, yeah. So Will and Carlton, they playing against Lisa and Amira in a game of tennis. And, of course, we see in this game, Will and Carlton are not seeing eye to eye. They still not getting along. Of course, Amira and Lisa see it. Next scene, Phil, he gets home to find Viv all dressed up, ready to go out with the girls. He's like, I don't want us to continue to fight. I promised the kiss meant nothing. Can we just talk? And Viv's like, no, I just want a night out with my girls to myself. I just want a night. I don't even want to be bothered. No drama. So when Hillary gets home, she's just like, well, where is everybody? I thought we was doing family dinner. And feels like it's just you and me, but it's just me, you and me, honeybee. And then they cut away to Viv and her girls at the club. So then we go back to Hillary and Phil, and, they talking about LaMarcus and him getting better. But then Hillary brings up LaMarcus's dad, pressing him to get back on the field and how she feels like she has no say-so. And then kind of leads to them having a conversation about, basically they both kissed somebody they wasn't supposed to. So it's kind of like that conversation, but they don't tell each other to the full extent. And, Phil was just giving Hillary like some fatherly advice. It's a little heartfelt moment about mistakes and whatnot. And just being there for your loved ones. Then we go back to Viv and her friends at the club dancing. It's men all coming around. Look, I see the men and I'm like, and I see Viv dancing on the men. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, something about to happen. I'm like, oh, something gonna go wrong with one of these dudes, or she gonna accidentally kiss one of these dudes. Or I was thinking the chef was gonna pop up at the club out of nowhere. I was gonna be like, oh, how ironic the damn chef pop up. But the chef doesn't pop up. But I thought something was gonna happen in that moment. It didn't. It was just a harmless dancing. Grinding, bumping, grinding, because she was grinding. She was twerking. They was like, you got the mega knees. So we go back to the beach, and he's sitting with Lisa. He's like, I guess I messed the date up. And Lisa's like, you can turn it around. And she starts questioning him about, because he's reading this business book, trying to learn more of the business side that he don't know. So Lisa starts asking him questions, and she's like, with every question, we take some clothing off. And then, they start doing the nasty. And I was just like, I can't believe they should. But I had to think about it. I was like, well, on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will and Lisa was getting it in. So I wouldn't expect nothing less on this show. It's just weird because they look so young, like, on this show. But it's just like, they old enough, I guess. Yeah, they old enough. So Hillary, she's back at the hospital. She catches LaMarcus trying to walk around. He's talking, I'm just trying to test out the equipment. He's trying to walk. He could barely stand. So she make him get immediately back in the bed. And this is when she sees his phone, and it's blowing up with negative comments talking about who going to replace LaMarcus and if he's ever going to get back on the field. And she's basically trying to encourage him not to even pay attention to those comments. She's like, regardless of anything, you just need to get better. No matter how long it takes, the fans, the sport and everything will still be there when you ready to get back on the field. So then back at the club, Joan messy ass brings up the damn chef, brings up Sharif, and grabs Vivian's phone. What type of phone don't got no phone lock? Because I was like, how did Joan just easily get in Vivian's phone like that? She ain't got no she don't got no face ID or no passcode. Just easily got in her phone. They done went to Sharif's Instagram and the messy friend. So they had what's her name from? I don't remember her name, but y'all remember the one from The Best Man that was with Terrence Howard. Her crazy ass. She is there as like they crazy friend. So she grabs Vivian's phone and she goes to, they on Sharif's Instagram. She likes every damn picture on the goddamn, on his page. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I knew that shit was going to come back. Because I'm like liking every picture like that. That sends a clear sign, a clear message. So I knew that was going to come back into fruition. I was just like, really? I was like, first of all, get your phone from your friends. Like, so Carlton and Amir riding home, and Carlton, he's talking about, how much he needs this internship to work for him because he don't have nothing else going for him right now. And he talks about how he's afraid that Will is going to fuck it up for them. And he's like, right now I would usually be getting high, but so then he suggests that he and Amir go to, he want to go to an NA meeting. And Amir's like, well, how about we get a different type of high? And then she's like, that speed racing you did really turned me on, even though he wasn't even the one driving. So she grabs his face and turns his face towards him. I mean, towards her off the road. And she's like, drive faster. Drive faster. And then she starts to go down on him. And I'm just like, this bitch, this is why I don't like this bitch. Because at first I was like, because first he wasn't looking at the road. And I was like, now what if y'all crash and die or crash and get injured? Then it's going to be like, you dumb bitch. I don't know. I don't care for her. I don't care for her. I don't think he should be with her. We're going to see how this go because he's still with her in episodes 5 and 6. So I'm just like, but I'm seeing what Viv was saying now. Like, this girl is not good for you. Or maybe y'all just needed some time. And if the moment presents itself, if it was meant to be, y'all will come back to each other. Because I was like, I'm not feeling this girl. So back at the club, Viv, she's going on about how she ain't been wanting to talk to Phil, and she brings up how they haven't had sex in about 2 months, and she trying to find that trust again with Phil and whatnot. And then she brings up the other women's situation and the crazy friend. She goes to look up Erica's page, and she's like, oh, I found her Addie. Let's go pull up. And I'm thinking, oh my God, no, they're not about to go to this girl house and do some and do some mess. But they was apparently too drunk to move. They was like, can she come to us? But I like her friends though. They was like, we'll beat her up next week. I was like, she got some down ass friends though. I was like, no, they not about to go to her house. No. So, Jeffrey finds Carlton like daydreaming on his balcony, and this is when Carlton tells Jeffrey about the street racing. And I was like, well, at least now Jeffrey knows. So if Frederick try to like play Will and Carlton, it won't be nothing to play with because he already knows now. And Carlton was about to spill the beans on Frederick too, and Jeffrey was like, I already know. Let me handle my son. I was like, Carlton was about to spill it all. Jeffrey ain't even have to put the stare down on him like he did with Will. Carlton was like, look, Jeffrey, I got something to tell you because the lies, I can't deal with them no more. So Viv, she comes, stumbling in the house. And I like how, because most shows when people get drunk, they have them belligerently stumbling in the house, not being able to talk, and it just don't be believable for me. But I like how subtly drunk she came in. Like, she came in with her shoes off. She wasn't too stumbly, but you could see a little stumble there. She had a full-blown conversation with Phil. She was like, I had a good time. I don't feel like talking. This isn't the time. Da-da-da. So I was like, okay, but because I hate when shows do that. Like I don't drink, but I'm assuming drunk people don't be that damn belligerent to where they come in. They be like, and then be falling over. And I just don't be buying it. I don't be buying it. So I was glad that they didn't put too much on that with Viv. So Phil's like, oh, I was hoping we could talk. Why would you think that she, after a night out with the girls, that she would want to come home and talk about her problems? That was the reason she went out in the first place, to get away from you and y'all problems. And you talking about, can we talk? Oh, no, I guess tomorrow. Yeah. So then Will and Carlton, they make amends. They like, we can't be working together and be beefing. I don't remember what their full conversation was, but basically they was like, we gotta come together and make this work, or we ain't gonna have no business, basically. So like I said, Hillary is trying to reassure and encourage LaMarcus to not pay attention to the negative comments online and not worry too much about getting on the field too quick. And Hillary, she comes, she all dressed up like a black Barbie, and she putting makeup on LaMarcus, fluffing his pillows, and she's like, we're going to take a selfie to let everybody know that you are good in the hood. And, she's like, and we already getting good comments. So, I mean, that's a supportive girlfriend. I liked it. Fiance. It was a supportive fiance there. So Will and Carlton's merch finally arrives, and Carlton's like, how many shirts did you order? And Will's like 100. And the janky dude that they've been waiting for all this time, he's like, oh no, we only take bulk, my boy. This is 1,000. So they got 1,000 shirts instead of 100. And in this final scene, Frederick's in the shower, and Jeffrey goes through his things to find a burner phone with only one number in it, a number from London. And I'm like, ooh. I had no idea who it could have been. I thought it was going to be I thought it was gonna be them the people that Jeffrey's running from, and I thought his son was trying to backdoor him, because you know he don't know his son like that, and his son don't know him like that. So I was like, what loyalty does he really have to Jeffrey? So I really thought it was one of them gang members from London. But you know, we found out in episode 5 or 6 who it is he was communicating with. So yeah, that's how the episode ends, and I was still graded in a C plus. It wasn't too much going on in this episode. I don't know why, like in episodes 1 through 3, episode 1 was not as good as 2 and 3. And just like episodes 4, 5, and 6, episodes 5 and 6 for me were better than episodes 4. I mean, I guess it's like a slow burn, and it gotta lead up to what you wanna gotta lead up to what you the good stuff. But yeah, episode 4 wasn't a lot for me. Yeah, I would still give it a C plus. And yeah, comment below what you would grade the episode and what you thought of it. And yeah, so now we're about to get into episode 5. Let me just put a timestamp in my notes so I can make sure I put it in the description. My phone is trying to fall right now. The timestamp will be, we're going to do 2610. 2610. Okay, so now we're about to get into Bel-Air Season 3, Episode 5. So if you haven't seen Episode 5 of Bel-Air Season 3, then turn this video off because I'm about to spoil it. And like the video and subscribe to my channel and comment below what you would grade Episode 5 and what you thought of Episode 5. And of course 4 and 6 too if you want to grade and talk about all the episodes in the comments, please. I love the interactions and the engagements. Yeah, so Episode 5, I'm going to grade it. What happened in Episode 5? Episode 5 was cool. It was cool. I would give episode 5 a C plus too. I might change it at the end of this of reviewing episode 5, but from what I'm remembering, episode 5 wasn't all that. So for now, I'm going to give it a C plus, but we shall see. I might change it later, but for now, I'm gonna give it a C plus. So last chance, if you haven't seen episode 5 of season 3 of Bel-Air, turn this video off because I'm about to spoil it. So episode 5 begins. It's Phil and Viv's wedding anniversary, or just their anniversary period. And Will Carlton and Ashley surprised them with breakfast in bed, only to find that they didn't even sleep together the night before. Viv's in the bed by herself. Phil comes walking in with a pillow, and he's like, you know, I slept in the office because I was working late. The kids ain't buying that shit. They looking at them like, nah, something else wrong. And as soon as the kids leave the room, you can clearly hear Phil and Viv arguing. And then all the kids' faces are like, what's going on? I mean, Carlton already heard them arguing previously, and he heard his name, which kind of is like a trigger for him this entire episode. But Ashley and Will didn't know nothing about it. Even though Ashley said on the first episode, they might look perfect, but it ain't all perfect behind closed. So, but it's like Will and Ashley had no idea, but Carlton kind of knew. So Carlton trying to like play it off because he thinks that they're arguing about him. So Viv, of course, I knew this shit was going to come back from episode 4. Viv gets a text from Sharif about liking all his pictures on IG, and I'm just like, I mean, I knew that was going to happen. He talking about something, you trying to tell me something? I knew that was going to happen. I was just like, she should have went back and unliked them, but I mean, you could still see if somebody liked all of them and then unliked them. But I was just like, well, I knew that was going to come back. So, you know, Phil, he goes to Viv. He apologizes for them arguing earlier after the kids brought them breakfast. And, you know, they agreed that they want to just get back to them. And, like, they like, you know, I want us to have a good anniversary. So we're going to come back tonight and get back to us. So Will and Carlton, they're downstairs. They struggling to figure out how they gonna move all this merch because they got 1,000 shirts instead of getting 100. Phil comes down and Carlton, you know, he offers, you know, he feels like the reason Phil and Viv are arguing are because of him. So he goes to Phil and he's like, you know, if you need us to get Ashley out the house, if you need us out the house for your anniversary, I can help you with that. And Phil's like, that won't be necessary. And then he's like, you know, I'm proud of you, son. The therapist says you're doing good, and I'm happy with your progress. I'm like, but my man still ain't got his doors, though. He still ain't got his doors. So So Viv, she comes up to Ashley's room and she's gushing over Ashley prepping for her band, and she's like, you're gonna be our little artist in the family. And she wishes her good luck because this is the day that Ashley's holding auditions for her band. So in Phil's office, he notices that Jeffrey is a little distracted, and he asks him, what's going on with you? Jeffrey tells Phil about Frederick's burner phone and the one number that's in it, the London number. And Phil, he brushes it off. He's like, maybe it's an old girlfriend or just a friend or somebody. And he suggests, you just talk to your son. That's the problem. Stop trying to be Jeff. Stop trying to do a Jeffrey on your son. He said, talk to him more like a father than less like Jeffrey. So while they at work, Carlton is definitely in his head. He's thinking he's the reason for Phil and Viv being at odds. And he's all in his head. And then Will comes up to him. He's like, he comes up with this idea to get this famous guy named Pony Rich, who's played by Gator from the show Dave. If y'all watch Dave, y'all know who Gator is. I was like, oh, look at him making a cameo. So they trying to get him to wear their shirt so he can basically put it on his IG platform because he got 6 million followers. Get him to basically sell out their merch. So they trying to figure out how they going to even get close enough to him because, the little geek and cart manager dude was like, y'all can't be fraternizing with the customer, with the clients, with the members. But then they end up going to him and they like, how can we get in that pickleball game so we can see Pony Rich? And he tells them, they always looking for workers to work the VIP events. He's like, but y'all got to go talk to Miss Tina. Oh, see, that's what I forgot. Now, they go to Miss Tina, and she's played by I cannot remember who she is, but as soon as I seen her, I was like, oh, I remember her. I can't remember if she's on one of my housewife shows or one of the little reality shows I used to watch, but she looks, she look familiar. I know her from something. She's either in a movie I've seen, or movies I've seen, or a TV show I've seen, or TV shows I've seen. I don't remember where I know her from, but if you watch the episode, then you know who I'm talking about when I say Miss Tina. So they go to Miss Tina. She checks them out and she tells them, y'all can't just y'all just can't work the event without paying a price. Like, y'all gonna have to earn it. And she was like, which one of y'all gonna do it? Before she could even finish her sentence, Carlton was like, Will, and pushes Will up there. I was like, damn, you just gonna proposition your cousin? Like, what if she was talking about the sex? She's talking some Will a cheater, he'll do it. Like, just propositions the shit out of his cousin. But it ends up being a game of pickleball, which Will ends up winning. And then she gives them the opportunity to work the gig. So Viv, she finally meets with the artist Destiny, the one that was DMing her and the one that tagged her building and whatnot. And, Destiny is there and she ogles over Viv and she admires her so much. She tells her she's the reason that she got into artistry and started painting black women. And I was like, damn, I guess I was wrong about the chef dude being the artist. I don't know. For some reason, I thought that the chef dude, Sharif, was going to be the artist. But I wasn't wrong when I said this ain't the last we going to see of him. I wasn't wrong about that. But I definitely thought he was going to be the artist, though. So I was kind of disappointed. But I was like, hey, it's a black girl. Give a black girl a chance, whatever. So Will and Jeffrey, they work in the pickleball event. And they're looking out for Pony Rich for when he arrives. And then we go to Jeffrey and Frederick, and Jeffrey suggesting, let's hang out. And Frederick's like, oh, I'm going to the pub. It's a young crowd. I don't think it's really your scene. And Jeffrey's like, okay, well, maybe another time. So then back at the pickleball game, Carlton is starting to get overwhelmed by seeing all the drinks flowing in the country club and whatnot. And he steps away to take a break because he's feeling overwhelmed and feeling like he can't handle the pressure or whatnot. So then, goddamn Chef Sharif pops up at Viv's office talking about, I bought you lunch, but I only eat it if you join me. And I'm just like, oh, no, this is not the time, Sharif. Like, they having problems and they merge. And you popping up with your muscles and your lamb chops. Like, damn. So back at the tournament, Will, he runs into Jackie, who's like, she's like the escort. She's driving the people around. And, he apologizes to Jackie for what Lisa said. And Jackie's like, I'm just more upset that you didn't even defend me in the moment. Like, you just stood there and let her say what she wanted to say or whatever. And, you know, she tells him off. And Will just sitting there speechless. He don't got nothing to say. And she's like, I got to get back to work, nigga. Get out of my face. So Phil pops up at Viv's job and catches her having lunch with Sharif. I mean, what's it called? It was honest. Like, it wasn't nothing going on. It was innocent. It was having an innocent lunch with Sharif. Gives her flowers, and he's like, happy anniversary. I was going to take you to lunch, but I see you already eating. They tried to get Phil to join them. He was like, nah. Have your fun. Have a good time. And then he's like, I see you back at the house. And he leaves. So then back at the house, Ashley, she's sulking. No one came to her band tryouts. And Olivia's, you know, she's like, maybe because of the style that you're looking for is kind of intense. And Ashley kind of gets offended by that. And Olivia's like, well, I was only trying to cheer you up. And then she brings up that her parents got divorced. And Ashley gets super defensive. And she's like, my parents aren't getting no divorce. And Olivia's like, sorry, maybe I should just go. So I don't know if that's going to be the end of their friendship. They probably make up because now her parents done made up. So I feel like her and Olivia just have a tiff because I think she likes Olivia, like Olivia. And I told y'all I was going to learn her name. See, I told y'all, I said I was going to learn the little white girl name that's Ashley's friend because I was tired of keep calling her the little white girl. I don't know the cart cleaning dude name that's Will and Carlson's manager yet. I got to learn his name. I don't know his name yet. So I keep calling him the cart cleaner manager dude. So Jeffrey catches Frederick ass, not at the pub like he said he was going to be. You know, he starts pointing out all the shady things that he's been noticing that Frederick's been doing. And then he brings up the burner phone. And he's like, who you been talking to? Because there's only one number in it and it's from London. And Frederick, you know, he gets defensive. But he's like, you know what? He's like, I can't say. I promised I wouldn't say who I'm talking to. And Jeffrey's like, well, how about you keep your promise and I just follow you? He's like, you can't play your father. You can't play Jeffrey. He ain't your father at this point. At this point, he's Jeffrey. He questioning you like nah. You turn the shower on when you want to be on the phone and you call in at midnight and that's when London wakes. Yeah, you know with they British accents. So Jeffrey has the sponsor, Spencer, the guy from Amira's NA meeting, the gay dude. So he's there and he has him come to the country club to basically for like an emergency one-on-one NA meeting, and you know he expresses how he feels like he's the reason that Viv and Phil are fighting, and Spencer basically tells him like you gotta learn, like I don't remember what he tells him, like basically he's saying like he got a lot on his shoulders right now, he just need to focus on getting back to him basically, and like brings up Amira and how his relationship with Amira is probably not the best right now and things like that. Oh, excuse me. So Jeffrey followed Frederick to find out that he was going to meet with his mother, which throws Jeffrey for a loop. He's like, Penelope. So Pony Rich, he arrives at the country club. Will runs to go grab his merch, but he doesn't end up getting to take it to Pony Rich because he ends up having to intervene with a member who was getting like a little too frisky with Jackie. So he misses his chance because Miss Tina comes over there and is like, I get that some of these members do too much, but you got to come to me first. And he's like the nigga was out of line. And so Miss Tina's like, you take a break. So he misses his chance to present the merch to Pony Rich. And you know Carlton's not there because he had to have his little one-on-one NA meeting. So when Viv gets home, she finds an outfit laid out for her, and Phil comes in with champagne. And he's like, you know, pregame, why you putting your outfit on? We going out for our anniversary. So Viv, you know, she tries to bring up lunch with Sharif, and Phil's like, oh no, I trust you. And then he says, I wouldn't overreact to a harmless moment. And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, this nigga just fucked it all up. And you can see it on Viv's face. Anybody would have took that and been like, I was like, you just fucked up the whole moment, bro. Like, she probably ain't even feeling it no more. Because I was like, why would you even say that? Because we all know what you thinking. We all know what Viv is thinking when you said that. I know what I was thinking when he said that. So it was just like, why would he say that? So now we get this conversation between Jeffrey and his baby mother, Penelope. So Jeffrey finds out that Penelope and Frederick have been in contact for years, and Jeffrey's had this right-hand man named Roman. Oh, I can't wait till we talk about Roman. But he had this right-hand man named Roman that was supposed to look after Frederick and Penelope after Jeffrey left. But apparently Roman got locked up like immediately after Jeffrey left. And Jeffrey didn't know none of this. So he's like, oh, I didn't know. And he's like, you know, I only left to protect you and you and Frederick. And Penelope's like, you didn't protect us. You as soon as you left, our family fell apart. She's like, I was broken. I didn't have no money. I didn't have no influence. I was a single mother, so I had to do what I had to do, which was, you know, give him up for adoption. So Jeffrey's like, well, you know, I'm here now for Frederick, so you can take your ass back to London. I was like, damn. He's like, you can go back to London. I got Frederick. So Phil, he done rented out the whole restaurant for him and Viv to have their anniversary dinner. They sit down, and the first thing Viv brings up, so when you said that you wouldn't overreact to a harmless moment, I was like, I knew it. I was like, I knew that shit was going to come back up. Because immediately I was like, why would you say that? Now she going to think, oh, that she overreacted to you and Erica's kiss. So she immediately brings up that comment he said, and she's like, so you saying that I overreacted to you and Erica's kiss, and you didn't overreact to me and Sharif's lunch because you didn't want to prove your point or something. And I was just like, well, Phil. So Phil's like, no, I didn't. I just said that because I trust you. And Viv's like, well, I don't know why, because she was like, because I find Sharif super sexy, and I like the attention that he gives me, and I like the way he undresses me with his eyes, and all this, and just saying a whole bunch of stuff. And she's like, I just want us to come clean and talk about the stuff that we don't tell each other. So then we get this cute little scene where Carlton and Ashley, you know, they talk briefly about Viv and Phil being at odds. And, you know, Carlton reassures Ashley that Phil and Viv will be okay because, you know, Olivia bringing up divorce to Ashley kind of probably threw her for a loop. Look at me sound like a Baltimore, for a loop. But anyway. So we go back to dinner, and Phil tells Viv, well, I like the attention from Erica, and I think she's sexy, and I fantasized about being with her, and I like that she wanted me, because it don't seem like you want me anymore. So Viv was like, that's not true. He was like, you know, Phil was like, well, you always seem super busy. And she's like, well, you put work on me too. And, you know, they start talking about their busy lives and how the kids need them to be on their A game for them. And they talk about how they need to work on now prioritizing each other first. Because they can't help the kids with their problems if they not A1, if they not on the same page. So they kiss and make up. And I was just like, I mean, we seen this coming. They had problems in seasons 1 and 2 too. Or maybe just 2 or maybe just 1. But they had problems before and they resolved it. So I was just like, I mean, I see them not, like Ashley said, my parents aren't getting a divorce. So I seen that they were going to make up. I didn't think nothing of anything else. Will this be their last little scuff? I mean, tiff? I don't think so, but we see how they make up and we see how they argue and fuss and whatnot. So Will, he's sulking over missing the opportunity to talk with Pony Rich and show his merch off. And, you know, he and the cart cleaner dude, manager dude, look, I don't know his name yet. I didn't learn his name yet. So him and the cart cleaner manager dude, they start talking, you know, briefly about each other's parents, finding out a little more about each other's parents. And the cart cleaner dude is like, look, if my dad's died and that was my guy. So if your dad's still out there, it's never too late for you to, like, reconnect and whatnot. So, you know, Will's kind of having that in his head. Next thing you know, Jackie pulls up in the cart with Pony Rich and gives Will the opportunity to, you know, show his merch off to Pony Rich. And Pony Rich seems to be fucking with the merch. He's like, okay, tell me about this. Tell me about your merch and tell me what this black cess is about. So then we cut away to Frederick. He packed his shit up and he's leaving Jeffrey's house. He's like, if my mom, if I got to pick between you and her, I'm picking her every time. So he was like, if my mom ain't welcome here, I ain't welcome here. I'm dipping. So he's like, I'm gone. And Jeffrey's like, really? Why would you do this? It's just like, nigga, he gonna pick his mom. Like she said, they've had a relationship for years, and he's just getting to know you. So, like, who you think he gonna pick? And then that's his mother. So it's just like, she the one that birthed him. Even though she gave him up for adoption, she the one birthed him. That's his mother. And they didn't have a relationship for a couple of years, and he just now getting to know you, Jeffrey. So it's just like, of course, who you think he gonna pick? So when Viv and Phil get home from the little anniversary date, they come home to find like a video collage playing of them throughout their years and whatnot. And then Tony Tone's anniversary starts playing, and they start dancing. And Carlton and Ashley, they smiling up from the upstairs balcony, watching them as they dance. Like, yeah, we did it. We got them back together. I mean, they made up before they got home, but y'all just put y'all put the cherry on top, if you will. I mean, it was cute for the kids to have done. And then I'm like, what? Hillary was gone? Because Hillary was there. Made a goddamn charcuterie board for her and Phil to eat for dinner. I was just like, what? That's like, what? A charcuterie board? Phil was like, can we have a? And then she talking about it was a girl dinner. What kind of girl? What kind of girl eats a charcuterie board for dinner? Phil was like, can we have a man dinner? So a boy, he shows it. Well, should I say a boy? Because he's non-binary. So Eli, he shows up. This new character, Eli, he's non-binary. So I'm trying to respect his pronouns. New character Eli shows up at the Banks house, hoping to audition for Ashley's band, and that's when she tells them that they missed the auditions, and but she offers to let them in and, you know, listen to some music and just vibe out. So I guess she got a new friend. I'm like, so are we getting rid of Olivia? Because maybe Ashley's not gay. Maybe she's because we thought she might be gay because she likes Olivia, but maybe she's also, maybe she's what's the one that likes everything, everybody? Is it pansexual or is it asexual? I don't know which one it is, but maybe she's one of those where she just likes anybody. So maybe she might be feeling Eli. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. So Will and Carlton, they watching the Black Seth story, and they see that Pony Rich is on there promoting their merch. And, you know, it's already got over 6 million views. And Will and Carlton are talking about how they got so many orders. They probably going to sell out by the end of the night. And this is when Phil and Viv come in to get Carlton. They take him to his room where he finds that his doors are back. And I was like, oh, they gave my man his doors back. I was like, that's what's up. They tell him how proud they are of him, that they working on them, like they working on their marriage, and like that everything is all good. And, you know, they embrace with Carlton, and Will's watching from afar. He's like, you know, seemingly thinking about his own parents, especially after the conversation he had with the cart cleaning dude. And then something that Carlton said right before the parents came in, like, you know, trying to fix things and whatnot. So Jeffrey, he does the big man move, and he moves his BM in with him and Frederick. He had no other choice. You either lose your son or move your BM in. So he moves Penelope in with him. She's like, you sure about this? And he's like, fuck no. Or he said, hell no, or something. I don't know. He was like, fuck no. That's fuck no. It's strong as shit. Fuck no. I don't know if he said fuck, but it just feels right to say fuck no. But, you know, we get these little quick scenes at the end where Viv makes Destiny her fellow. She gives Destiny the fellowship. Phil sends a letter to Erica's firm, cutting complete ties. Carlton's gushing over having his doors back and whatnot. And then he gets a text from Amira ass talking about our next high is cliff diving. And I'm just like, get rid of this bitch. Like, he need a new bitch that ain't crazy. I mean, she ain't crazy. I just don't trust her. And then she always look high to me. I'm just like, is it me, or does she always look high? She looks high every time I see her. And I'm just like, maybe she's not, but it's weird. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if later on in the episodes we find out she been high this whole time and she been hiding it from Carlton. That would not surprise me, because I swear she be looking high as hell. And I'm just like, I don't know. And I just don't trust her. So, final little scene, Will, he's going through the little box that Lou sent to him, and he finds a baby picture of him with Lou and his mom, Vi. And he texts his mom, and he's like, I need you in LA. I'm gonna move. I know I said I was gonna grade. That's how the episode ends. I know I said I graded it a C plus at the beginning, but I had to think about the fact that we finally found out what Frederick was hiding, and I thought that was a big moment with his mom, because I didn't see that coming until like right before it happened. So, and then, like I said, Jeffrey did the big man move and moved her in. And I mean, Viv and Phil made up. So I'm gonna move this grade up to a B minus. I'm gonna give episode 5 a B minus. I know I said C plus, but I'm gonna give it a B minus. But of course, y'all welcome to give your own grades and your own opinions and thoughts of episode 5 in the comments, and episodes 4 and 6. But yeah, leave those in the comments, and like and subscribe. I'm gonna keep throwing that up in there. Like and subscribe, because it's an easy and free way to help support my channel. Yeah, that was how episode 5 ended. Now we're gonna get to episode 6. Let me put a timestamp. What we doing? 51:15. I'm gonna do that. 51:15. Okay, yeah. 51:15. Okay. So now we're about to go into episode 6 of season 3 of Bel-Air. So if you have not seen it, turn this video off, because I'm about to spoil the entire episode. But please comment below what you would grade episode 6, what you thought of episode 6, and like and subscribe to the channel, because it's easy and it's what? Free. So episode 6, I'm gonna grade episode 6 a A motherfucking plus, only because Big OG Jeffrey was on this motherfucker. So I have to give it an A plus. I have to give it an A plus because OG Jeffrey was on this jump. I had to. Best episode out of the 3 that aired on Thursday. I had to give it an A plus. So yeah, last chance, episode 6 of season 3 of Bel-Air. If you have not seen it, turn this video off. I'm about to spoil it all. So episode 6 begins with Will. He done picked up his mom from the airport. They on their way to the Banks house. And when they get there, he goes to pick up his mom from the Banks house. And there's protesters outside of the Banks house, due to Phil's firm representing Omar Campbell's project. And then we go to Carlton. He's on FaceTime with Amira. He's telling her about his freak out at the pickleball game, and how Spencer came and really helped and calmed him down. And he mentions, how Spencer told him that he should kind of not be used, like he shouldn't be having distractions right now. He should be kind of focused on him and whatnot. So Amira, she gets defensive about Spencer talking about her, but she all in all, she says, she tells Carlton, I understand, and whatever you need from me, just let me know, even if it means like space. So I'm like, okay, well, she seemed more understanding than she was at first. So Penelope's moved in with Jeffrey and Frederick. So Jeffrey and Penelope, they talking about the threats that Jeffrey has been receiving. And they both suggest that they have a sit down with Roman. And I'm like, who is this Roman character going to be? I was like, who is this Roman character going to be? I ain't going to lie, though. I saw on Will Smith's page that Jeffrey was going to be on the show, but I didn't know which episode it was going to be. So it was still a surprise and a happy moment for me to see. It wasn't like I knew when he was going to come in, and I didn't know he was going to be Roman. So I was like, who is this Roman character going to be? So Will and Carlton, they excited, ecstatic that they sold out all their merch. So now they got this new merch that they about to start promoting. And, Will brings up, how are you in the mirror? I thought you were stepping back from the mirror. And Carlton's like, nah, she's my person. I need her. And he's like, don't worry, we're going to NA meetings. So Will starts asking him about the NA meetings. He's like, do it feel like a safe space? And what do y'all talk about? And before Carlton could give him answers, Vi and Viv come down and they rocking the new merch. And the boys start, going live on the Black Sass page to start promoting the new merch with them wearing it and whatnot. So I knew we was gonna see Erica soon. So Erica, she pops up on Phil, and she's like, she basically urges him not to let their personal situation interfere with their business. And she's like, if you cut ties with my firm, then we're gonna have to take all the clients that we brung to you. And feels like, is that a threat? She's like, that's just what it is. Because I don't think Erica is like in charge in her firm. I don't think she's the boss. So they probably just sent her and was like, you know, if you cut ties, we taking all our clients back. And she's like, you really want to just bank your whole firm on Omar Campbell with all this bad press and whatnot and the protesters? So Phil, he stands up. He's like, I said what I said. But he basically stands on his decision to cut ties with Erica's firm. So Carlton and Amira, they get to NA, and Amira immediately with Stroh's Carlton left. She immediately starts confronting Spencer. She's like, so you had some stuff to say about me to Carlton. And I was like, oh shit. And Carlton was like, oh shit. So Carlton, he's thrown off by that. He pulls Amira to the side, kind of like checks her. He's like, what are you doing? Like, Spencer's in my corner. And Amira's like, well, I don't like how everybody acting like they don't know our relationship and da-da-da. And then she brings up Carlton's parents not liking her. And Carlton's like, well, actually, they lies. He's like, well, actually, they invited you for dinner tomorrow. Lying like hell. I was like, they didn't show nothing about them bringing him to. I was like, this nigga's lying. How you want to sit up there and tell Jeffrey, you know, I'm just tired of spinning lies. And then you just flat out lie to her face talking about your parents wanted to have dinner with her. But, I mean, some lies are, I guess. So Viv, she walks past Ashley's room to see her in there with Eli. And she's like, Ashley, can I talk to you for a minute? And she's like, you know, we don't allow you to have no boys in the room. So Ashley's like, well, Eli's non-binary. His pronouns are he, they. And she said his pronouns are he, they. And you know, old school parent like Viv just throws her the fuck off. She just like, oh, well, we'll keep the door open. She don't know what to say to that. Was she supposed to disrespect his pronouns and be like, well, that's a goddamn boy, you know? So she trying to be respectful, modern age, old school parent and be like, well, keep the door open. She was thrown the fuck off by that. She didn't know what to say, but just keep the door open. I mean, the door was open. They were sitting across from each other. It looked innocent, but you know. So Will's sitting down with his mom with Vi, and you know he brings up Lou, and he shows her the picture that he found of them together. And this is when he brings up that he wants to have a sit-down talk with her and Lou. And Vi gets super offensive. And she's like, no, I don't. Every time I get around that man, I don't want nothing to do with Lou Smith. I don't want to talk to him. And she's like, no. And she storms off. So now Vi, she's telling Viv, you know, Will, he wants us to sit down and talk. And Viv's like, well, that might not be a bad idea. And Vi's like, well, you know, you making my son soft. Now he out here, he don't want to play basketball. And this black sex thing ain't going to be a long-term career. He ain't going to make no money off of da-da-da-da. And Viv's like, well, Will came up with the quitting basketball on his own once he found out his father was super passionate about it. So that's and Vi's like, well, he just got so much going on right now in his head. And Viv's like, and you should be happy that he wants to sit down with his parents and talk about it. So this puts a different perspective in Vi's head. She's like, oh yeah, well, yeah, especially black boys that don't like to express their emotions and feelings. So this is something you should be happy. Viv's like, you should be happy that our sons want to express themselves. But this is coming from me, the soft parent, because you know Vi had just called her a soft parent. Talking about you do soft parenting. So Jeffrey, he fills in on, you know, Penelope, the whole Penelope situation, moving in, and that they're gonna be meeting up with Roman, and feels like, well, I hope everything goes well. And then he brings up that Jazz's shop is one of the places that Campbell's project is trying to buy out, and he's like, is there anything we can do about it? Jeffrey's like, is there anything we can do? And feels like we just gotta make our client happy. Because right now, Omar Campbell's his biggest client since he let go of Erica's firm. But at the same time, like, Jazz is like family. So it's just like, but it's like, we see which way Phil going business-wise. Because he like, well, we just got to keep our client happy. So Hillary stops by and she comes, checks in on Ashley. And Ashley lets Hillary read some of her lyrics to a song she's writing, which basically is about Hillary and how they've kind of like lost their sisterly bond or whatnot. And Hillary, You know, she's like, I know you thinking I'm a piece of shit, basically, but I'm telling you, I was going to tell LaMarcus, but right before I was about to tell him, he, you know, had this injury. So she's like, I don't want you to be mad at me, and she asks Ashley to be her maid of honor. Oh, excuse me. So Carlton goes to Viv while she's doing her meditation and pisses her off. Something. Well, yeah, I invited Amira over for dinner, so can she come? Like, you already invited her. What the hell the point of asking? But I mean, he's like, well, yeah, I asked Amira. I mean, I invited her for dinner, so. So Phil, he goes to Jazz's shop and, you know, he makes the offer to Jazz to sell his shop. You know, he's like, you know, you can start over with this money and, you know, rebuild and whatnot. And Jazz, he ain't really feeling it. He's like, no, it's not for sale. So Vi, after talking with Viv, she goes back to Will, and she agrees to sit down and talk with Lou. She's like, but the moment he yells or says some bullshit, I'm out of there. So then we get the scene with Will and Carlton. You know, they talking through the nerves of dinner with Amira and sit down with Lou. And Phil comes in, gives some words of encouragement to Will about sitting down with his parents. So this is the moment I was like, oh shit. So Jeffrey and Penelope meet with Roman, who is played by the OG Jeffrey from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I was like, I know that's fucking right. I was like, yes. I was like, look at my man Jeffrey. I didn't like how he's playing the serious role though, the gangster role. I was like, dang, I missed the old Jeffrey. But I was just happy to see him. I was like, okay. We got this Jeffrey cameo. Is we gonna get anybody else? Because I know we had no, have we had any other cameos from the old show? From the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? I think Jeffrey's the first one. I'm trying to think, has anybody else from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air been on the show? I'm wondering if we're gonna get like a Hillary cameo, a Ashley, a Will, a Jazz. I'm wondering, or a Vivian. I wonder if we're gonna get any of those cameos. Rest in peace, Uncle Phil. So Carlton, Viv, and Phil, they sitting down at dinner, waiting for Amira, who doesn't end up showing up. And then we go back to the conversation with Penelope, Jeffrey, and Roman. And Roman, you know, he starts off, you know, Jeffrey, I failed you by not looking after your family, but in my defense, I got clanked. But he's like, you know, I failed your family. So then Roman, I'm calling OG Jeffrey. Roman then tells Jeffrey that by Frederick going into the adoption system or whatever, that's what kept him safe and hidden from the gang, from them finding him. But when Jeffrey and Penelope reached out to Frederick, that's how the gang basically found out that's what exposed their locations basically. So he tells Jeffrey, the gang, you know, they took a big financial hit basically, and they want Jeffrey to come back and you know, take over. And if he don't, then they're gonna kill Frederick. He's like, well, your son gonna the son will pay the price for your sins. So Spencer, the NA dude, he allows Will to use his NA space for his meeting with his sit down with his parents. So Vi and Lou, they sitting down. Of course, it's silent at first, but then Vi and Lou start off with the insults, and Will's like, can we just have a civil conversation? So then he tells Lou Will tells Lou, you know, I was pissed when I last spoke with you because you laughed at me wanting more than basketball. And Lou, you know, he starts telling Will about he's like, no, I was mad because you turning out just like how I was. And he starts explaining his background to Will and how he kind of had a similar life. He was living in the hood, and then he moved to with his grandparents who was trying to put him on the straight and narrow, but he still ended up in those streets doing, you know, all the bad things and whatnot. And he's like, now he sees Will going down the same path. I'm like, how do he see Will going down the same path? Will ain't been in the streets in over a year. This nigga's doing business stuff now just because he left the basketball. I was just like, I kind of didn't see that. I was like, how? And he's talking about he was hustling and doing stuff. And when Will was in Philly in the first season, he wasn't even doing nothing but like betting on basketball games and stuff. I didn't see him doing nothing like real too hard, like drugs or I don't know. But I guess in the streets can mean anything. So Amira, she shows up at the Banks house like totally after the dinner's over. And I'm like, why does this girl always look high, bro? Like, I guess it's just the type of eyes she got. Because people say that about me too. When I laugh real hard, my eyes get real chinky. And I be looking high. Or when I smile, my eyes get real chinky. But it's just like, that girl always look high to me. So she shows up and Carlton starts questioning her about the recent actions. You know, her coming at Spencer and her not wanting to go to NA meetings and things like that. So Viv walks over and Amira, you know, she apologized to Viv for not showing up to dinner. She's like, you know, today is the anniversary of my sister's death, and it's just always hard for me, and she gets emotional. And Carlton and Viv, they console her, and Carlton's just like, why didn't you say anything? Because he didn't know. So we go back to Vi and Lou and Will, and they kind of laughing about old stories and whatnot. And this is when they get into the story about how and why Lou was arrested. So we find out that Vi sent his ass out to get that money because they was in the house for 5 days with no heat. And she basically was like pressing him like, nigga, I'm not standing here no more longer. So this encouraged him. I mean, this is kind of like forced him to go but she said that the dude did owe him money. He just didn't want to give it to him, which kind of forced Lou's hand to rob dude and get arrested. So this kind of puts this kind of gives Will more perspective. He's like, I just thought you was just in them streets and got locked up and didn't give a fuck about me. He's like, but now I understand. He's like, thank you. I understand you was doing it for us. So Will and Lou, they hug and have this emotional scene, and everybody's crying. I was just in my head like, I wonder how many takes they had to do for this scene, because that scene was so good. Like, that scene was good. I was like, they all was crying. I was like, these some good ass actors. I was like, I mean, I done seen the mother. She played in If Loving You Was Wrong with the Tyler Perry show. I mean, we know Marlon Bennett stuff non-seriously all the time, but that was a good ass scene. Like, they did that. I was like, they even had me teary-eyed a little bit. So Jeffrey goes to Phil. He tells Phil about the ultimatum that Roman and the gang gave him. And he's like, you know, I have no choice. And Phil's like, man, you always got a choice. Basically trying to convince Jeffrey to find another way other than going back to London. And I'm just like, I don't want Jeffrey to go back to London because I feel like it's a setup. Because you saying that you killed their boss. And then you mentioned to Frederick that he had youngins and whatnot. So I'm just like, what makes you think that the youngins in London, his youngins, ain't going to try to kill you as soon as you step foot in London? I was like, it sounds like a setup to me. So I was like, yeah, Jeffrey do not need to go back to London. So then we cut away to Jazz's shop, and he's in there with the councilwoman girl, Yolanda, and you know, she's talking about how Jazz's uncle used to tell stories about how the Black Panthers used to come in the shop and have their meetings and hide out from the riots and things like that, and kind of gives Jazz the push he needs to not sell, because he was kind of giving up. He was like, toast the last time being in here or something. And I'm like, Black Panthers, you say? They might need to look into that because his shop might be a historical landmark. And they might be able to save it. And I was like, I'm glad she brought that up. And I was like, maybe it's a reason she brought that up. So then we get this moment between Vi and Will. And, you know, they talk about how the meeting with Lou went. And, you know, Vi apologizes for basically making her problems with Lou Will's problems with Lou. And, you know, she tells him, I'm not against you having a relationship with your father if that's what you want. So if you want that relationship with him, by all means, have that relationship with him. So, and that's what a lot of mothers do. Like, they keep the son away from the father because they mad at the father and stuff like that. I think that was a situation with my parents at one point. I remember at one point my mother ain't want me around my father because she was mad at him, and my grandmother used to have to come and get me to take me to see my father because my mother wouldn't even know and stuff like that. So I get that completely. So Carlton, we get this moment. Carlton, you know, he tells Amira he be worried about her when she be ghosting him and stuff like that. And Amira's like, well, how about I share my location with you? And Carlton's like, I want to be there for all of you or something like that. Because he doesn't say love. And Amira's like, I love you too. And I'm like, this nigga ain't say he love you. He was just like, I want to be there for all of you or something he says like that. And they kiss. So I'm just like, so this is not the end of this bitch. I don't like her. I'm sorry. So Phil, he gets the folder back that he left with Jazz, which was the offer to buy his shop out. And the sticky note says not done hustling. So he declines the offer. He ain't selling his shop. He ain't giving in. And even Phil chuckles like, I know that's right, my nigga. Like, basically, now, but he thinking like, damn, what I'm going to do now? I'm representing this, what you call it. But he knows that Jazz ain't paid his taxes. But that's why I said I need to look into that historical landmark thing, because that might be something. So Jeffrey, his punching bag filled with money, bags it up, takes it to Roman, and he's like, yeah, you said that the gang is taking a financial hit. He throws the money on the table. He's like, this should settle their debt, and if it don't, it's gonna have to, because I ain't going to fucking London. He's like, Roman, you owe me anyway, so you better make this shit happen. And him and Roman shake hands, and he's like, goodbye, Jeffrey. And I'm like, I hope that this situation is over with, but I don't want this to be the last that we see of OG Jeffrey. I'm like, I hope we see Roman again, but if we do see Roman again, it's going to be a problem. But either way, we get this final moment, heartfelt moment, Will and Lou playing some one-on-one on the court. And he's like, I'm hella proud of you, boy. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like, okay. That episode was good. Like I said, I'm grading it an A+ only because of OG Jeffrey. How could I not? How could I not? The episode was good. A+. But comment below if your grade is lower than that. If you feel a different way, give me your opinions and whatnot in the comments. And like and subscribe to the channel. I can't stress that enough. Help me get to over 300 subscribers, which isn't even a lot. But it helps my page it helps my channel in a big way. So like, subscribe, comment below. What else? Like, subscribe, comment below. I'm going to repeat it again. Again, thanks for watching. If you watched this in its entirety, comment below, like, subscribe. I'm going to say it again. Thanks for watching, and I will see y'all in the next review. Peace.